Well, let's think about this.
Okay.
One player has been far more durable. One player has, for a half-decade plus, had to carry a team. One player has been, by the people who vote on such things, by All-NBAs or by MVPs or by MVP finishes, has been clearly considered the better player. He scores more, he assists more, and yeah, it doesn't matter, he plays a lot more basketball. And that player is James Harden. He was also the far better player last night. And to score 47 with allegedly the league's best defender guarding him. Hold on, I'm sorry. What's that? Oh, he didn't guard him. My apologies. My apologies. Kawhi Leonard was stuck in the corner on P.J. Tucker defensively. Odd place for the two-time Defensive Player of the Year to be. And that was when the Clippers, supposedly the best defense in basketball, weren't in a Jim Boeheim-esque zone defense, which you don't see very often from the best defenses in basketball. But I set that aside. There have been two moments in Kawhi Leonard's career he's been better than James Harden. The 2016 season and last year's postseason. At every other moment, James Harden's been better. Been considered better, has played better, eye test, stat test. Now, I know we are a prisoner of the moment, and the most recent thing that happened, the most important thing that happened, and last year's postseason, Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the NBA. But over the long-term or short-term, unless we're going tiny-term window, Harden's been the better player, and this year he will prove to be the better player.
Your Honor.
Yes.
He just mentioned and threw that out there that Kawhi was the better player last postseason.
Yes.
As if that were 10 years ago, not 6 months ago. Because if we remember correctly, may I approach you like a hostile witness?
Please.
Because that is the way that you are acting.
Go ahead.
It was a 2-2 series between Golden State and Houston last May when Kevin Durant's calf injury first happened, correct?
Correct.
Who won Game 5? Whose team won? I'll answer for you.
Okay.
No. James Harden's team did not win Game 5.
Correct.
James Harden's team did not win Game 6 on their home floor, again, without Kevin Durant and a Stephen Curry who went scoreless in one half. Okay, fine. Let's take that and move it to the next one. In the NBA Finals, who was the best player on that team, in that same situation?
Kawhi.
Okay. Don't just throw that out there as if it does not matter. You seem to gloss over those facts. You gloss over the fact that Kawhi is a two-time Defensive Player of the Year. You gloss over the fact that Kawhi Leonard is a two-time Finals MVP. So when the game matters the most, Kawhi has played the best. Yes, last night you are absolutely correct. When James Harden was not being guarded by Pat Beverly, he was exquisite. When he was guarded by Pat Beverly, he was 0 for 6 with 4 turnovers. Now, we can put that in its own box, correct, because Kawhi Leonard was supposed to guard him.
Hold on, wait, real quick. I just want to make sure I have that right.
Yes.
Because I didn't know that. James Harden last night was 0 for 6 with 4 turnovers when he was guarded by
Pat Beverly.
Pat Beverly.
Yes.
And in the game, I'm just looking, he was 12 of 26. So let me do that math real quick. So that means he was 12 of 20 with no turnovers when guarded by everyone else. Right? That was what that would mean?
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely.
That everyone else includes Kawhi Leonard.
Sure.
Right? He was there. He wasn't load managing. I saw him. I saw him there last night. And just real quick, you said I'm acting like last year's playoffs don't matter. It is not what I'm acting like. However, if you are making the case that Kawhi Leonard has been better than James Harden, you must act like last year's playoffs are the only thing that matters, because going into last year's playoffs, it was a unanimous case. Harden had 4 top 2 MVP finishes. Kawhi had 1. Harden had multiple scoring titles. Kawhi will never have a single one. Harden had led the league in assists. Kawhi is still searching for his first career triple-double and has won 10-assist game in his entire career. Harden has led the league in minutes and games played. Kawhi Leonard has twice found it within himself to play more than 68 games in a season and never once more than 74. So we can do the last thing that happens the most important. We can't do the last thing that happened is the only thing that happened.
Here's the thing, Nick. You can say Kawhi load manages during the regular season. I can tell you when James Harden load manages, June. Because he ain't there. All right?
Correct.
So, and let's go there. If you can talk about MVP finishes, because I voted James Harden twice. I didn't mean it. I know you're here.
No.
I voted James Harden twice for MVP, including the year that Russell Westbrook won it. I voted for Kawhi Leonard twice in MVP. I get that. But you can say all those things and historically say that you want Kawhi Leonard on your team because he plays bigger, plays better, plays more complete when it matters the most. That other side of the floor matters. Playing in the NBA Finals matters. When James Harden played in the NBA Finals as a young pup, you know what he did? He went MIA. When Kawhi Leonard played in the NBA Finals as a young pup, you know what he did? He won MVP without being actually the best player on the floor, which says a whole lot.
Yeah, and that's a questionable MVP. First 2 games of the series.
Of course it is, because LeBron didn't win it.
No,
the MVP without LeBron.
I mean, just it should be noted, the first 2 games of that series, Kawhi Leonard scored 9 points and 9 points, and it's the second fewest points per game anyone's ever averaged in winning Finals MVP.
All right, I think I could be a neutral observer here, right? Because I'm not as anti-Kawhi or pro-Harden. I think I'm a neutral observer in this one. You said prisoner of the moment. I think in today's side, we are a prisoner of the playoffs, right? And where James Harden has disappeared, that is where Kawhi Leonard has risen to the occasion. There is no doubt James Harden is a better scorer. Like, no one would argue that point at all, but it is, you do play the game on both sides of the court. As you mentioned, I don't love the load management. I think Kawhi Leonard gets way too much credit for last year's finals, and so does load management. If the Warriors, are healthy, I don't think he gets that MVP or the championship. Even that being said, I still think you have more evidence of Kawhi being clutch, being a performer in the playoffs than James Harden ever has. And maybe this is the year that James Harden can close that gap and actually get it done in the playoffs. But until he does, you have to lean with Kawhi.
But here's the reason you don't have to lean with Kawhi. And here's the reason the playoffs can't be all of it. Because as we have seen, Kawhi Leonard cannot single-handedly carry a team in the regular season.
And neither can James Harden.
No. What? We have seen him do it. What are you talking about? Now, by the time the playoffs come around, because he has had to do it, he does appear to be worn out, and his efficiency wanes and all those things. But we've never seen the counterfactual, which is, could Kawhi do it? Because he's never been asked to. Last year, he was not asked to. In San Antonio, the 1 year where he was asked to, you know what happened to him in the playoffs? He got hurt.
After they won 67 games.
Yeah, and then that was the 1 year of his career. He was better than Harden. 2016, I concede the point, Your Honor. But then you know what happened to him that postseason? He got hurt. Because you know what? It wears on you over the course of the year.
Or Zaza Pachulia slides under your foot.
Except he was already dealing with an ankle injury in that postseason, and you know that to be true. It's just we do this thing. And by the way, Kawhi Leonard, by my math, is, as long as Kevin Durant's out, is the 4th best basketball player in the world. There is no shame in that. But there is at no point in Kawhi Leonard's career were people arguing that he was the best player alive until all of a sudden it became, well, clearly he is. Even during the playoffs. First 2 rounds of the playoffs, who's the best player alive? Oh, it's got to be Kevin Durant. By the end of the second round, beginning of the 3rd round, oh, my God, Giannis is going to damn near sweep his way to the finals. And then it becomes the hottest of hot takes to be like, no, I think Kawhi's a top 5 guy, but not the best player in the league. And on the defensive point, holding on to Kawhi Leonard's Defensive Player of the Years right now is, to me, a little misleading. It is calling LeBron last season a multiple-time first-team All-NBA defender. It's true, but it's misleading. Because what are we seeing right now? Oh, when you have to be the guy that runs the offense, when you have to be the scorer and the distributor, if you are going to play minutes, now, and Kawhi's doing it while taking games off, you got to rest sometime. And last night they knew Kawhi was going to have to do something all the stars in the league do in big games. You got to play 40 minutes, kiddo. We're going to need you to play the whole 4th quarter and actually have played a lot of the first 3 quarters. And if we're going to need you to do that, stand in the corner and guard P.J. Tucker because the offensive end is more important. And because of that, the best player on the court went off for 47. So this whole thing, we kill Harden because for years he has stood in the corner. You know why? Because he's had to do what Kawhi is finally getting a taste of, what LeBron's had to do for 15 years, what Giannis is quietly doing in Milwaukee. So right now, it is still LeBron. Giannis is the only one that's very close, and Harden is scoring on a Chamberlain rate. Kawhi's a great player. We've elevated him to a level he's yet to show us more than for 3 weeks last postseason.
I can't believe I didn't answer my second question. Who's better, LeBron or Jordan? But you know what? Man. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.